Support. Subscribe to my vlog. Help me hit 200 subs by September 30th. Warning. I'm going to be talking about drama in this one, and I might say some things that might upset or trigger you. So, if you think the topic of drama, personal drama, or dramatic storytelling is something that might trigger you, stop watching now, Snowflake. Okay, welcome to day 16 of RPG A Day 2020. I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming, the OGGM, and today's word is drama. Drama. And let's face it, there's a lot of drama going on in the world right now, and we all have a lot of drama in our lives. And if you're a storyteller, a game master, a player, you might want to take the drama of your life and of the world around you and project it into role-playing and perhaps write the greatest role-playing adventure, role-playing background, role-playing whatever in history. You might have images in your mind that you're going to be the next Matt Mercer, be the next Chris Perkins, be the next Dave Arnesons, be the next Gary Gygax. You think the drama, the story that you want to tell is so original and so unique, you are going to change the world forever with your gaming. And right now you're probably busy writing away what you think is going to be the best adventure written ever. I've got news for you, Snowflake. You're never going to be as good as Mercer, and Mercer's never going to be good as the Pervious guy, and I'm never going to be good as that because there are no original stories left to tell. Whatever it is you think you're writing, it's been done. I assure you, it's been done. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It just means you should understand that it's been done. There are really only so many dramatic stories you can tell, and they've been told. It really breaks down to like 6. There really are just 6 stories you can tell. There are various ways you can tell those stories. There are various ways you can twist and turn and point the art, point the drama in unique and interesting ways to tell a story. But there are only 6 stories you can tell. So let's take a look at them. Let's take a look as a published screenwriter, the dramatic stories. What are the stories you can tell? And of course, they're, boy meets world. They're just all variations of that idea. The heroic journey broken down into 6 stories. There are only 6 stories you can tell. 6. The most important, story number 1, is hero versus themselves, because that's the hardest story to tell. That is the hardest drama to tell. The dramatic story of the player character, the hero, the protagonist dealing with themselves, their own worst enemy, all the inner demons, their imagination, their trials, their tribulations, their victories, their defeats, their joy, their sadness, everything that goes on in here is 1,000 times better and worse than what's ever going on out there, because your brain is what perceives everything. And your brain takes everything and makes it unique to you, to the hero in question. You are the hero of your own story. I'm the hero of my own story. That guy over there is the hero of his own story. And the hardest story you can tell, the hardest drama to portray, especially in writing, especially in the medium of role-playing, is the hero versus themselves. Man versus himself. The hero versus himself. The next one is the hero versus nature. Once you step out that door, you're going into the unknown. You don't know where the road will take you, and you're constantly surrounded by nature. That nature could be a city. That nature could be the countryside. That nature could be a dungeon. That nature could be outer space, and outer space is freaking scary. But A dark and stormy night. Hero versus nature. The constant dramatic story of us versus the universe. And the universe is constantly trying to kill us. The world of nature, we are outsiders. We're not supposed to be in the forest. We're not supposed to be in the desert. We're not supposed to be in space. We're not supposed to be underwater. We're not supposed to be in the dungeon. And that's constantly trying to stop us. Hero versus nature. Hero versus another. Man versus man. Hero versus his fellow humanity. Man versus man. That is where the most drama takes place, because we are the greatest heroes and the greatest villains in our own story and in the story of the world. Every time we interact with somebody else, that's drama. That could be comedy drama, that could be romantic drama, that can be violent drama, that can be love, that can hate. Man versus man, you know, mano y mano, the hero versus the villain, Luke versus Vader. That story is as old as time, the story of us versus them versus us. Woman versus woman, hero versus villain, hero versus hero. Man, hero versus machine. Now you might think, well, that's relatively new because technology is not that old. No. The wheel was invented several 100,000 years ago, possibly even earlier. And there's always the constant threat of technology supplementing what we can do. Because anything we can do, a machine can do better. And a machine doesn't need to be paid, and a machine doesn't need to be complimented. A machine doesn't care if you insult it. A machine doesn't care if the weather is. The machine doesn't care if it woke up this morning and it's not feeling good. It's going to do what it's supposed to do, and it's going to do it better than us. Hero versus machine. This dramatic conflict of us versus technology. That's constantly going on. That's space. That's cyberpunk. That's the traps in the dungeon. That's trying to cross the street. That's rushing to get that important piece. That's cutting the wire with only 3 seconds left on the bomb. Hero versus machine. And finally, hero versus the unknown. That is your classic Dungeons and Dragons adventure. I don't know what the DM has planned for us. I don't know how the drama is going to play out. I don't know what the adventure is. I don't know how our actions are going to change the story. The unknown is everything outside that door. That is the definition of the heroic journey. That's the hardest one because you're dealing with the unknown. The heroic journey is leaving what is safe and stepping out into the unknown. And once you do that, once you step out onto that world, once your player characters step out into the world you, the DM, are creating with your dramatic stories, no idea what's going to happen. And finally, boy meets world, or girl meets world. The process of the transition from the innocence of youth to the complexities and drama and comedy and passion and tragedy and highlights and lowlights, and everything that is the transition from childhood to adulthood. Boy meets world, hero meets world. That is that is so important, that transition, the ritual of child becoming adult, young adult becoming medium adult, medium adult become grumpy, old, opinionated, fat adult, grumpy, old, opinionated, fat adult becoming dead adult. And in the process, creating new life in one form of another. Me as a teacher, because I don't have any kids of my own, I create the next generation through education, through shaping the children that I have the pleasure and honor to work with so that they can go forth and go through this whole rigmarole, this nonstop, nonsensical, whimsical, amazing, tragic, beautiful, ugly adventure that is life. So, as a GM, there's only 6 stories you can tell for your campaign. There's about 32 ways you can tell each of those. And we're constantly seeing new takes on old stories every frickin' day. Somebody takes something that's classic, Romeo and Juliet, one of the most classic stories ever, star-crossed lovers, and coming up with a new, different way to tell it. The Terminator, somebody's constantly coming up with, new, interesting ways of telling the hero versus unstoppable monster, unstoppable force story. The drama of storytelling, the drama of adventuring, the drama of being a DM, the drama of being a player, the drama of this amazing hobby. The hardest part, comedy is hard, dying is easy, as a very wise man said on their deathbed. That drama, that story, only 5 ways, only 6 ways you can tell it. So, sorry to break it to you, no matter how original and unique you think the thing you're working on right now is. I know you think you're going to be the next Mercer, the next Koval, the next Perkins, the next Gygax. I hope your goal is not to be the next Adam Coble or Zach S., but, be the next you. Don't try and be them. Tell the best story you can tell in your unique way, because everything that you've experienced up to this moment in time is going to shape the drama of what you put on the paper. And then once you create that and put it out in the world, it will be completely different than anything anybody before you has done, because your life is completely different than any other life that's come before and any other life that will come after. Yes, there's only 5, 6 ways to tell the story, but there's infinite ways to experience it. Talk to you later.